everybody. What is happening? Welcome to another Thursday night episode of Thrifty Business. I'm your one host, Vegas Jay, and with me is Vacaville Debbie. Debbie, how the heck are you?
Hi, I'm good. Surviving the crazy rain, but we need it. So
I know we're getting a ton of it here, but I'm okay with that based on about the amount of snow that everyone else is about to get. So
yeah,
I will take a little rain. How's everybody doing? Welcome. Good to see everybody. Don't forget, this is our new time. We'll be doing it at 8 p.m. East Coast, 5 p.m. West Coast. It works out very well, I think, for majority of the people. So until further notice, this will be our new time. But let's hit our first segment so we can get our guests introduced. Time for Jay's Tiki Talk, where each week I have a different rum out of a different tiki mug, and I try and match it up to our guest. And our guest this week is Ari Hoffman. Hi, Ari. How are you?
Hi, how's it going? Good.
All right, so you were tricky. All right, so you, your name, there is no like Ari or Hoffman rum, so I couldn't figure that out. And we haven't told people what your big item is yet, so we're not going to say that, but you deal in shoes. I have no tiki mugs with shoes. So you do live in Texas, so it made me think of two things. I have this giant tiki mug, so everything's bigger in Texas. So just as an example, like here's a normal size tiki mug, and I mean this sucker is huge. I poured my whole drink in there, and it's not even a third. So I went for the bigger, and you live in Laredo, which is not too far from Mexico. So I busted out my Mexican rum, which I'm not sure if I've used before. So this is Mocumbo Mexican rum. And they do this cool thing with this like living vine. So each bottle has a different look to it because it's always organic, so to speak. Yeah. So and I had to get a big ass straw too. So Debbie, what are you drinking and what are you drinking out of tonight?
I am drinking Plantation 5 years Barbados rum, just a little bit with some bulletproof energy drink. But look what I have. It's the brand new Jungle Bird Tiki mug. We just got it released last night. So we went to Sacramento and picked up some of these. I have one for you too, Jason.
Okay. And there you are. Are you having a cocktail this evening, Ari?
No, not today, but I brought up this tiki mug just for you guys.
Nice. I see it's being used as a pen holder. That's very nice.
We'll get them trained.
Yes, I say it works so much better when there's rum in that vessel than pens. But hey, at least you got one, so I'm excited. All right, sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and we'll see you in about 25 minutes.
All right,
let's get oh, you know what, Deb? He's on an app, so I can't turn him off. So you're going to see Ari down there. He's on his iPad. I just remembered.
Okay.
Yeah, for some reason, the app doesn't let me turn it off. But, oh, well, no biggie.
Just keep your clothes on, Ari.
Yeah, you. All right, now it's time for... Oh, not the horse. That was a...
The horse is for Laredo.
Our scores of the week. Debbie and I share with you the things that we have found and sold. These are BOLOs. Be on the lookout. Things you should be hunting for.
Yes, I had no clue about this spongeware, whatever it's called, this Bennington Potters. At a local thrift store, I found a tote for $8 that was full of it. So just these 4 plates here sold for $80 plus shipping.
Wow.
So keep an eye out for this Bennington Potters. It's marked on the back. I love items that have all the keywords for me there.
Yeah, that's like most tiki mugs. It's written who made it, who designed it, the year on the bottom.
Yep. Awesome. Look at these audio cassettes. There's a new little place that opened up in town that has like office supplies. I don't know where they get them from or whatever, but Bill went out one morning. I stayed home and he picked these up for $1 and we sold these for $48. And then we have another set of something similar for sale too, but he did good with those.
Well done.
Okay, our rabbit fur jacket. It sold once and it came back because it didn't fit. So, I don't think I raised the price. I think this is the same price I sold it. I know when we get returns back, it's nice to raise the price and often they sell higher. So this sold at the 55. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the person who bought it is really a size 10. Okay, this was so cool. These are, see my title there? Tiki Totem Design. I've had these listed about 6 months, and we're sitting at Jungle Bird last night, and we get a notice on our phones, and guess what sold? These tiki totem designs sold while we were sitting in a tiki bar last night. So not only do we think about our items and touch them to get them to sell, sometimes we go sit in a tiki bar if we have a tiki item and it will sell. I had these already prepackaged. Oh, I forgot to send. I was going to give you a photo of what they look like. I prepackaged them before they ever sold, so we just slapped the label and off they went.
Now we'll share it next week for your shipping tip.
Yes.
All right. Now I have talked about t-shirts, for years, and then they kind of waned, and bigger sizes are always better. But I still look in the small section because there's always cool stuff. Case in point, this Falcon Heavy SpaceX rocket t-shirt. It was only a small. I picked it up for $1.99. It was only listed for about 3 or 4 weeks, and it sold for $25. So.
Wow.
For cool, in the news stuff, I always will hunt the small section.
Good.
I had this cool vintage Lily dress forever, and I finally got a decent offer on it. I had gotten a lot of lowball offers on it, but I was happy to take it and send it off to someone who will enjoy it. It was kind of a cool pattern with birds in it.
How come you didn't have the size in your title? Or did I miss that? Yeah, I don't see your size.
That's a good question. I would have to ask an assistant that no longer works for me. I didn't even notice that. But
it's a cool dress.
Good catch. Bras, big bras. This was a 40G, and that went out yesterday. $30. Paid $2.99 for it, and we're actually going to talk a little bit of bras tomorrow during the Secret Beach webinar. And I love Strategos. One of the first early board games I remember, besides the young ones you play when you're a kid, like Chutes and Ladders and stuff. But when you actually start to have, thoughts in your head and you can put, moves together, my dad taught me Stratego, and I always loved that game. And it's a good flipper. You can sell, especially the older versions, but any version of Stratego is a good thing to sell.
I played that game too when I was a longer time ago than you.
Oh, yeah. All right, now it's time for my CD score, and it's going to be scores of the week because I had one today right as we were getting ready. I'm like, I got to share that. So first one is Sons of Otis. Now, I know all of you are fans of Sons of Otis. Nope, no one knows who they are. I don't either. And I paid $20 for the CD, but when I scanned it, I saw that it looked pretty good, and it was it did take 8 months to sell. Sold for $70. So after fees and what I paid, I did clear $32. So which is really nice for a 4-ounce CD. Nice. And then I just sold this today. Haven't even shipped it yet. From the Beauty and the Beast TV show, I spent $6 on it and sold it for $50.
So is that a sound? That must be a soundtrack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess.
And so that is $120 in just 2 CDs. Just 2 CDs.
And they're so tiny and easy to ship.
Yes, 4 ounces. They're all the same size. So I have done a webinar. If you have not taken it yet, head over to flippingcds.com and download the webinar. It is 2.5 hours of content that will blow your mind and teach you things like how to get through the thrift store quickly, how to find CDs in record stores that they misprice. I've been doing this for 19 years. I've sold over 150,000 CDs. So I definitely know what I'm doing when it comes to CDs. And everyone who has taken the webinar, I've seen great successes. I've seen everyone earn their money back and more already.
Oh,
so
yeah. It's such a great price to begin with.
The cost is nominal. Now, I'm going to give away, I became Italian there. I'm really Italian. I'm going to give away a webinar. So please, if you have not seen the webinar, participate. If you have, please don't answer. Just do it. Do me a favor. Let someone win who hasn't seen the webinar. If you're in the Secret Beach, it is in the Secret Beach. Some of you have noticed. Some of you haven't, but as a heads up, it's in the Secret Beach. All right, so here's the deal. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I did a question. Like just straight up trivia question. This time I put together an equation. So you're going to need to know stuff. Now I'm about to show you an equation with some bands. When I say these bands, I mean the normal number of people in the bands. I don't mean when they go on tour, they got 3 backup singers and a horn section of 7. I mean the normal members of these bands. So I am guessing we don't have anyone watching that has my knowledge. We might. So you guys get your Google ready because it's the first person to give me the correct answer. Are you guys ready? Here we go. I want you to take the number of the Beatles, add it to the number of members of Rush, multiply it by the number of members of the White Stripes, and minus the number of members of Slipknot, and then you'll have your answer. So let's see who the first one. Now, is there anyone watching who knows the Beatles, Rush, White Stripes, and Slipknot?
And remember, Jason sees in a different order than everybody else might see.
All right, so Jason Neal was just guessing numbers. Donna got it right. Now, Donna, did you just guess or do you know? So I want to know, Jason, just guessing out random numbers is never going to win the contest.
So how many did Jason guess?
Oh, well, first he guessed 44, then 3, then 9, then 29, 22.
Well, if you add all those up and divide them by 3.
But Donna Wester got it right. So Donna, did you know, or was that just a good guess? So the Beatles, there's 4 members, plus the 3 members of Rush is 7, times the 2 members of the White Stripes is 14, minus the 9 members of Slipknot gives you 5. So 5 is our winner. So Donna, hit me up. You have won the CD webinar, and I will get you the link. So hit me up on Facebook after the show is over. So
congratulations,
thanks.
Donna.
Yes,
I actually got the top. I got the Beatles and Rush. I never heard of the White Stripes before, and Slipknot, I was off by 1.
Now, Debbie sold a Slipknot t-shirt with all members on it, but she miscounted by a couple. So. All right. So not everything's good, though. Now it's time for our duds of the week. Do not let our mistakes be yours.
Okay, these little socks I have had listed, I think maybe we're going on 3 years. I mean, come on, they're $9.99, and I'm still sitting on those. From the shipping's only $3.50. So I guess they're a dud. I'm waiting, but we're coming up on Valentine's. Maybe this will be the Valentine's year they sell.
Come on, Valentine's Day.
Oh, this is interesting. This is more of the spongeware that I showed earlier, but it's a different brand. So we had a set of 2, and the lady said, hey, I broke one of my sister's plates. Can I just buy one? So being the nice person I am, I did it. I had to split the listing, retake the pictures, relist it to sell it for $7.99. I mean, both of them, I only had it, I think, at $14 probably. And I almost told her, you should just buy them both because you may break another plate anyway.
Yeah, what if you break another one?
So I was kind of like, oh boy, but I did it.
All right, this I thought was cool. It's American Tourister, like patchwork leather purse, new with tags. I had this, Debbie, for like 2 years.
No.
And I got to the point where I was running $9.99 auctions, and finally someone bit. So that was such a dud. It's one of the most dudly duds I've ever dudded.
And that's nice for travel.
You would think. Now, this was a cool patriotic dress, but it was homemade. There was no brand. And I had it up. I mean, I had good keywords, America Patriotic, Stars and Stripes, Independence Day. And I switched it around. At one point, I had July 4th in there. And finally, someone offered me $17 with free shipping. And I've had this up for at least 2 years. So I was like, bye.
Yeah. It's
a nice dress, and I hope someone enjoys it. But no one else seemed to really care about it.
Yep. Good.
All right, now. Where in the world did our stuff go? If you are not selling internationally, you are leaving out 7.3 billion with a B potential customers. Unfortunately, Debbie, again, has nothing international, but mine's kind of fun this week. So, I was supposed to re-listen to how that's pronounced. Yeah, I don't know. Remission. It's right outside Paris. But here's the funny part of this international sale. This was a tin that chocolates came in, and those chocolates came from London, went to Vegas, and then went back to Paris. So that tin is probably more well-traveled than most of us. But as you can see, you never know where something's going to end up. You never know where it's going to go. So you might as well have the option to ship to the world.
That's right. They have money, and they're willing to pay those higher shipping prices.
Heck yeah. All right, now it's time for Our thrifty tip of the week, little tips and tricks to help you out while you're in the thrift store.
Okay, so Bill and I stopped at a new thrift store. It replaced, there was a Goodwill there, so it's a new thrift store. I walk in right away. I see a sign, fill a bag for $10. And I heard them telling a lady, you're buying this jacket for $8, but you can fill a bag for 10. So I'm thinking groovy. Bill and I shopped for an hour. We each had a full shopping cart. We were probably up to 4 bags, which would have been about $40. Shoes and those little figurines that have the birthday number in front. And Bill found some awesome golf sandals. We were going to town. And then I heard her tell somebody, no, it's for clothing only. So I went up and I said, excuse me, I've been shopping for an hour. And nowhere, there were 3 signs, nowhere does it say clothing only. She goes, well, I'm really sorry. I'll give you 20% discount. Please come back and see us. But I thought, oh my gosh, we had to go put all that stuff back. I was even sending Jason and our friends pictures of all the cool stuff we had. We found another San Marcos blanket too. So anyway, nice. My tip is ask, what does this really mean?
And mine's almost kind of along the same lines today. If you watch my TV show, Thrift Hunters, you know we went to a store called the Garment District in Boston. And what the Garment District does every day is they have there's 3 sections to their store. There's a curated section by type and style, so you can go upstairs, and there's a whole rack of 1940s dresses. And there's a whole rack of overalls. There's a whole rack of wine shirts. And then there's a costume rental spot. And then every day they open a fresh bale of clothing. So my tip is, if you have a store that has something specific every day, be there at opening, because this is the pile that's still left over from yesterday. And this is the fresh pile. And I was the first one in, so I got to go through the pile. Now, unfortunately, my back's kind of a mess. So I did get through the majority of the pile, and I found 3 or 4 goodies. I found a vintage Nike polo and a cute t-shirt for my honey and another shirt to flip. So I didn't find a ton of winners, but if you have a store that does something specific every morning, be the first one in the store.
How fun that must be to dig through those.
And I posted these pictures, and eagle-eyed people, they're like, oh, didn't you shop there in Thrift Hunters? I'm like, yes, I did. But they were unhappy with us because when we cut the bale the day we filmed, there was a dirty diaper in it. And we showed that. And so they were very mad, so they wouldn't promote the show.
Oh, hey,
I'm like, hey, you're getting free advertising. You're only hurting yourself.
It's life, and we still thrift, even though we might run into a dirty diaper, don't we?
Absolutely. It's all part of the game. All right, now it's time for You Have Got to Be Shipping Me. Little tips and tricks, what to do and what not to do when shipping.
I was so excited when we discovered this. We get the free eBay boxes. That's the 8x6x4. You can see on the top what it normally looks like. Well, with our handy dandy resizer that you can get from Bubble Fast, we cut it down an inch and it slides right into a padded flat rate envelope. So flatware, anything that's going to be, breakable, whatever you want to ship in a padded flat rate, you can easily convert these eBay boxes. And these are the ones that we get with our shipping discount for having a store on eBay. So those boxes are free for me.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So now I get to go, nah, poo-poo to my mom. So my mom and I have a contest to see who can find the most unique and different South Pacific records. I don't think she has this one. I just got it in the mail off of eBay. So, But that's not the point of the story. The point is, here is how it was shipped. Media mail. Okay. Here was the packaging used inside the media mail.
Oops. No.
Yeah. So look, I'm not going to be the postal police. I'm not going to send them to your door, but I won't buy from you anymore, because that's beyond blatant. And that's not, if you're going to sell records, you should absolutely have record mailers. Do not fashion 2 medium flat rate boxes into a sleeve and call it media mail.
And hide it.
Yeah.
Inside. Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I ain't calling the postal police, but I'm probably never going to buy from you again. So.
Yep. So true.
All right. So now it's time for our eBay tips of the week. Little tips and tricks to help you out when you're selling online.
Okay, this is something that I had kind of forgotten about. when you're doing your listing, you get, you have your description, and you see at the top there, it says mobile friendly. I can't see what it says, checker or whatever. So click on that, and then the next screen opens up. And if it's red like that, oh, I didn't get a picture of there. There's just a little button down at the bottom to click, and they'll fix it for you so it's mobile friendly. My husband does our listings, puts them into draft. So he's already done that. So I completely forgot. I did 5 or 6 listings by myself and had to go back and do all of that to recheck it. So do it right then when you're listing. Always check that little link there and make sure that you're mobile friendly. Very easy and quick.
All right. Now, if you're in the thrifting board, you've already seen this tip, but not everyone who watches the show is in the group and vice versa. So I definitely wanted to put that out there. Do not fret when you get a return. What you do is you turn it back around and you list it for more. So I sold this record for $22 on October 31st. The customer didn't like the sound quality. And because it's a record, it doesn't necessarily mean the record has bad sound quality. He might have had a bad needle. He might have had a bad phonograph. And so I'm going to relist it. If I sell it a second time and hear the same thing, then I'll pull it from circulation. But I relisted it, got more than twice as much, and I got positive feedback from that customer. So don't fret returns. Just list it for more and make more money. Easy peasy.
That's right.
All right. And our last segment tonight is the good, the rad, and the ugly, because we all know ugly sells.
Yes.
Oh, whoops. My pictures are out of order.
Oh, do you want to do this? Oh.
Hold, please. All right. Sorry, my bad.
That's my fault. I was late getting everything into you. Okay, I love pick up these I guess like a school project or maybe a studio project, clay masks. But isn't he ugly? Actually, we just realized today because of this the listing, I couldn't find the listing, so it is still live. I thought I had lost it, but there it is. It hasn't sold, but a couple years ago on Christmas Day, I sold a little one for $49. It had period 2 and the student's name in the back. So anytime I find these weird kind of masks, I think I have 3 or 4 of them listed right now, I pick them up because they're usually $2.
Yeah, that's when we say ugly, that wins. Now mine is a bummer because I missed it by 1 day, but I had to share it because it is badass. Have you ever seen a more badass sweater in your life? I was shopping at Buffalo Exchange in Boston, and this was the woman ringing me out. I said, "Did you buy that here?" She goes, "Yep, I just bought it yesterday." I'm like, "Oh my God, can I take your picture?" To find a weirdo sweater like that is just epic, because every one of us would have sold the hell out of that sweater. That sweater is kick ass, but
the shape looks like it was made for her, where the waist
and that day I only bought dresses at Buffalo Exchange. She's like, "Oh, you got good taste in dresses." I'm like, "I know." So that'll lead me into my little tease for tomorrow's show. So I'll talk about that in a quick second. But before we do that, I forgot we have from our mailroom.
Yes. I'm going to read this to you. I can't tell you how much I love this item. As a little girl, my family was very poor and we couldn't afford toys like this. Our cousins were much better off. And when we visited them, I went straight to this farm set and played with it for hours. The last time I played with it was 50 years ago.
Wow.
I have displayed it on the island in my kitchen. I love this. And every once in a while, I'll set all the pieces up. Thank you for sharing this farm set and bringing back wonderful childhood memories. And we want to thank Tony Scarniccia, and she's a member of the Thrifting Board, for sharing this with us.
Yeah, so, that's the one thing about selling on eBay. A lot of times the things we sell actually have a sentimental reason for getting there. Like I got a t-shirt today. It's just a fresh t-shirt. No big deal. But, it was fun showing my mommy I got this new South Pacific. So, sometimes buying things is more than just buying things. And that's what I love about selling on eBay.
Yes.
All right. So a little housekeeping before we get Ari in here. Just announced I'm doing a thrift store class in Denver. Hello, Denver. Friday, February 8th. And of all the classes I've ever done, lunch is going to be the funnest lunch we've ever had. So the information is pinned at the top of the Thrifting Board. And if you can't find it, feel free to message me on Facebook. I'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction. I'm keeping this class a little bit smaller, but I'm going to be in town with my wife. So I thought, what the heck? While she's working, I'll throw a class.
Yes, the classes are great.
All right, so those dresses I thrifted that the girl was so impressed with me for, you will see tomorrow, 3 p.m. East Coast, noon West Coast, Summer and Jay's thrift hauls. I haven't done one in a couple months. I got all kinds of fun stuff to share with you. So, and Summer's got some cool stuff. Plus, I helped her price an item today, and that's going to be in her thrift haul tomorrow. It is so cool. If you're not checking the hat section, you're missing out on cool shit like this.
Hats.
And those of you in the Secret Beach, following, because I'm insane, I'm doing 3 shows in like 12 hours. Following the thrift haul, I'm doing the Secret Beach January webinar. What should I list today? How to list different items, actual live examples. And I've got them, I'm putting them all together. So don't forget tomorrow, that is at 5 o'clock East Coast, 2 o'clock West Coast. And we already have our guest for next week. Who's our guest, Debbie?
Annette Rostetter. She's one of our friends. You know, we hang out at eBay Open, and she lives by your mom, right? She attends your mom's meetup group. Anyway, she's going to be talking, I hope I spelled that right, on vintage lingerie. So this is something I'm excited because, you know, you go to estate sales and garage sales, there's lingerie everywhere, but I don't know which to pick up. So this is going to be great.
And we haven't done a bonus YouTube show for the Secret Beach in a while, so Annette's actually doing one. So next week, once we do the regular show, we're having a bonus show afterwards with more tips and tricks in regards to vintage lingerie for the Secret Beach. So all kinds of awesome stuff happening in the Secret Beach. So let me get, where are we? Boom, boom, boom. Let me get our guest up here, and then because I cannot wait to talk to our guests. So let's get it up there. Xinghua. All right, doorbell, where are you? Hey, let me get you turned up here. Oops. Hi, Ari.
Hey, how's it going?
Cool. Yeah, I forgot when you're using your iPad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot for whatever reason they don't allow you to turn the camera off. So I'm like, ooh. Yeah, I'm glad Debbie said, don't forget to keep your clothes on.
It's just a joke. We always say, nobody's ever taken their clothes off.
When I turn a camera on and a guest is like picking his nose or something. Or,
fighting with his wife.
Yeah. I told you to put it, like yelling at his kid. I told you to put that down. So what's happening, Ari? How is Laredo, Texas right now?
It's a little cold. It's 50 degrees right now.
I think you're going to catch a lot of shit if you're saying 50 is a little cold. East Coasters in the chat right
now. Anything under 70 is cold here.
Yeah, look, I'm enjoying a little bit of rain and gray the last 2 days. I grew up in Cleveland where it was gray all the time, and here it's always sunny. And so I'm like, 2 days of rain and gray is all right. But when it's 6 months, like in Cleveland, you're like, I got to leave. I just can't stay anymore.
Yeah. Gets to be too much.
So did you grow up in Laredo?
Yeah, born and raised.
Oh, a native.
And have you ever lived anywhere else?
Yeah, I lived in Dallas for a while.
Okay. And said enough of that big ass city. I'm going back to Laredo.
Yeah.
All right. So you're on for many reasons, but let's just start with what's behind you, because that's your backdrop right now. Yeah. So what is your passion, sir?
I have been collecting sneakers since high school, and not really. It didn't start off as collecting. I just kept them and put them aside, and I didn't want to damage them. So I just started hoarding them. And then when I moved to Dallas is when I realized there was a group, or I guess start off on Nike Talk. It was a forum, and that's where I started learning that there was, this whole culture behind it. And that's how I got onto eBay. Started buying shoes that I was looking for on eBay, and then started selling them, and it was all downhill from there.
So that was your introduction to eBay, was hunting for these shoes. I didn't even realize that part.
Yeah, shoes and mixtapes. I was looking for these hard to find mixtapes also.
Wow. All right. So yeah, wasn't seeing that angle coming. All right. So how many pair of shoes are hiding behind you there?
I'd say over 600. I haven't. At one point, I counted them, and then I started selling again, and kept buying, and so I'd say it's over 600 right now.
And we do have some pictures here. Let me throw those up there because Ari was nice enough to send some pictures over. So I don't know what you sent me. Are these your favorites or just some pictures you had on your phone?
Yeah, just some pictures I had on my phone.
I think you sent me a little video, and I heard your new baby in the background not being too happy when I was listening to this video of all your shoes.
Do you wear any of them?
Yeah, I do wear. I try to wear them all. There's some that I just plain refuse to because either sentimental value or the collectability of them,
great
or
shot.
they belong to a basketball player like those two. I'm a big San Antonio Spurs fan, so I have Tim Duncan's last shoe with Nike autographed.
Wow!
Before he moved to Adidas, and Manu Ginobili's, I got a bunch of his also.
So cool.
So, and if you don't want to share this, you don't have to. What's the most you've ever paid for a pair of shoes? But you don't have to if you don't want to.
Oh, no problem.
Now we're all curious.
The most I've ever paid for a pair of shoes is $2,000.
Ooh, I feel good. Hey, honey, listen to that. I feel good about my tiki mugs. The most
But
I ended up selling.
I ended up selling that $2,000 shoe for $4,000.
Oh, well, see, that ruined it. Thanks, Ari. I spent $800 on a mug and I just kept it. All right.
But
so
one day you may sell it.
Is that the most you sold a shoe for too?
No, I've sold. It was a collection of 3 sneakers, and I sold the set for $15,000.
All right, well, I'm good. I'm out. See you later. I'm gonna go find some shoes. Holy shit!
Wow. And we didn't even have him come on to talk about shoes.
No,
this is amazing.
I wasn't even expecting all that. That's just blowing my mind. All right. So here's the question that I know is in everyone's brain. I'm assuming you have a spouse there since you have a child, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to have one, but and how does she feel about the shoe collection?
She can buy her high heels and I can have my sneakers.
All right.
But I have to keep the shoes away from the closet. So I have a little. Right now, my place is a mess because we're moving. I just bought a new house a couple months ago, but
nice.
I have a space set up for all of them. I guess a shoe closet
in the new house.
This one and in the new house.
Oh, how fun! Wow, love it.
All right, so awesome. I turned Ari up a little bit. I'll turn Debbie and I down a little bit. Yeah, Ari's on an iPad, so it's a little bit softer than those Debbie and I on our computers. But I turned us down, so if you want to turn your speakers up, everybody, we shouldn't be too loud, Debbie and I.
Did you buy like the majority of these on eBay, or did you find some in thrift stores for garage sales?
No, some of them actually I found. There's a lot of mom and pop stores in downtown Laredo, and they would give me access to their back rooms, and this was just old inventory that had been sitting there, and I would find some diamonds there, and a lot of them was actually having to travel to LA or New York and waiting in line like the rest of the people. But yeah, a lot through eBay as well.
Well, it's cheaper than collecting cars and easier to store. So.
And we got a great question in the chat, which was going to lead me into what I was going to say. All right, so you started eBay because you're like, man, I'm looking for shoes.
Yeah.
And now you is eBay your full-time job?
It's one of the several things I do. I don't eBay around I want to say 2 years ago. I started ratcheting up and building a team, and now I'm able to delegate a lot of responsibilities to my team, and that allows me to explore other business opportunities,
nice.
and focus on several things at the same time.
Awesome.
So how big is your team?
For eBay, we have 9 people. I have two answering phones and dealing with FedEx. And I got and three other guys that are dedicated to sorting items out, and then the rest is shipping and getting shipping done, and packaging and printing labels.
Wow. Does your wife work with you in the business?
No, my wife is a school teacher.
Oh, nice.
What grade she teach?
She teaches 2nd grade.
Okay. So one question that I did see go by: does she have a collection of Louboutins?
She does. She that and Chanel.
All right.
Those hurt the wallet.
We need to have her on one day too, so she can show hers.
So when you were in college looking for shoes and you're doing eBay, what were you in college to be? What was your major? What were you going for?
It was just general business with a focus in marketing and finance. It just was. I guess it was. I was born to be an entrepreneur.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Awesome.
I thought I was busy with a lot of shit. I saw your write up, and I'm like, and you have a new baby. How old's your baby?
15 months.
So you got a 15-month-old. You got like 17 jobs going on. You're like the Ryan Seacrest of Laredo, Texas.
I love it. Oh, that's great.
So at what point did you think, oh, you know what? eBay could be a full-time career?
It was around, like, I want to say 2009, where, I started, reading up about, Google AdSense and more than anything, just being the marketing side of this. And I want to say like a 1,000% increase in sales within, 2-3 months. And I was like, if I take this very seriously, this is gonna be something profitable. And yeah, it's been working out.
Wow.
When you went to college, what because at that moment your end game wasn't, I'm going to make some money on eBay. So what would you think you were going to come out of college and do? What was your goal? Like, what job or career were you headed for, do you think?
I graduated around 2004, and the job market was just horrendous. I was working at American Express in their finance department, financial advisors department, and taking they were going to pay me to do the Series 7 and all the licenses. And around that time, my father fell ill and I moved back to Laredo. Prior to that, like in 99 is when I first heard of eBay. He has a brick and mortar store here. And I kept telling him, this is going to be the future. If you can just put your product online, I think we'll have a lot of success. And, when he fell ill, I came back to Laredo and started doing that. And it became a viable, source of income.
Nice.
So what was your dad's store? What did he sell? What was
he
it?
sells electronics and home novelties.
So is that where you got your knowledge and love of electronics? Because we're going to show your scores in a bit. I got to tell you, of all the guests we've had scores on, I felt so dumb showing a $40 dress tonight. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Because, usually people have like one specialty, like you're a sneakerhead. But man, your knowledge of electronics based on your scores too. Holy shit.
Yeah, I grew up in this. That's what I did. I fell into this and I love it. And my hardest thing whenever I find something to sell is I don't want to sell it. I want to keep it. And yeah, I have a passion for it.
That's awesome.
And is that why I'm assuming the new house is a lot bigger for your passions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
My house is a little full of my passion, so I fully understand. I fully understand that. So, so you got your dad's business going online. You're selling online, but yet you still do other things too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us what you do, but tell me more too. How do you manage all of that, even with a staff? You got a lot of things going on. You got a lot of irons in the fire.
I have a lot of help, and that's the way to do it. You can't be at the same place in two different places at the same time. So the way to do it is finding, you know, smart people to surround yourself with and delegate.
And so what else do you do besides your online sales?
Well, we restore cars, old classic cars, and sell those online and in auction houses all over the U.S. We're in real estate. I flip homes. We have an engine repair shop for airplanes and aviation, warehouse distribution, foreign trade zone. I'm a customs broker. Yeah.
Got
It's like 10 guests in one.
Coffee place on the side. I mean, that's insane. I just, do you sleep? Do you ever sleep? I don't sleep. Do you sleep?
I go on 4 hours a night. Try and limit myself.
So Deb, that's the one thing I always tell people. The only way, no matter what level you're doing, the only way to go to the next level is to hire some help, because you can't do it all. And you have to realize at some point you can't. And you got to be able to hand over the reins to do stuff. That's the only way to go to that next level. And my good friend Summer, who's going to be doing the thrift haul with me tomorrow, she was a hiring manager for a major restaurant chain for years, and she retired from it. But she watched me with a few employees, and she goes, "You are wasting your time. They're never going to get it. I know you don't like firing people, Jay, but you've got to let them go because they're just wasting your time." And so have you had employees a long time, or have you had a few where you're like, why did I hire this person?
It's a mix of both. I have some employees that have been with us for over 30 years. And then I have, you know, people that have been with me for 6 months.
Nice.
What was the shortest tenure with you?
Oh, I had a guy that, and this was somebody that I had hired to help me list stuff on eBay, and he lasted 1 day.
Oh wow.
He showed up to work the 1 day, and then the following day he was like, my daughter's sick, and then my daughter's still sick, and he, you know, 2 weeks he didn't show up, and I just assumed he wasn't cut from the same cloth.
Oh yeah, you gave him a long time, 2 weeks. Wow.
Yeah, I had one like that, Ari. She'd work for a couple of days and then never showed up, didn't hear from her. And it had been like 18 hours. And she finally texted me, and I've been calling and texting because, of course, now I'm worried. Are you in a ditch? Are you dead? And she says, and I have no reason not to believe her, but she says her sister was in a car accident and she was at the hospital. I go, it's been 18 hours. You've had to have peed at one point in 18 hours to text me that you're alive. And here's the deal. It only takes a few seconds. And yeah, I could tell it wasn't going to work out, whether that was the truth or not. But I'm like, just tell the person you're supposed to be at. It's like just because you work in my house doesn't mean it isn't a job.
Yeah. Be considerate. Have some consideration.
But I hired a new one, Ari. Today was day 3. And she's like, when can I go full time? I'm like, well, a go-getter. I'm excited about that.
Nice. About time.
And she caught me so off guard. I was just like, oh, well, okay. Well, hang on. I got a few things I got to get situated. But once I get situated, if you like hanging out here already, we can work it out, because I can see that she's getting it. She's younger. I've tried older. I've tried younger. So where do you find success? Older people or younger people?
I feel if you're the younger people are good in for, you know, social media marketing, stuff like that. The guy that I have right now who's helping me list a lot of the stuff that we have on eBay, he's 40 years old, and he's been with me for, I want to say, 8 months, and yeah, he's been great. So I don't know if 40 is old or young.
Well, compared to Debbie and I, well, I say I'm pushing 50. Debbie's
60s.
like 72.
Almost, yeah.
But no, my current is 25. I had a 20-year-old who wanted to be a nurse, and I had this fear, Ari, of millennials not wanting to work based on what you think, you know, in the media and the press. And my 20-year-old was awesome. I'm so bummed that she became a nurse. But the 25-year-old, I'm liking her right away, and so I'm very excited.
Very cool. So what do you typically sell on eBay? You don't sell your shoes, right?
No. I have an eBay, a separate eBay account that is just for my shoes. That's the Kosher Kicks username. I do have, I think, 30 items on there right now. But the one that I focus on mostly is the Wolf's Big Bad Garage. And yeah, I have close to 2,000 items on there. And it's really just a grab bag of, all sorts of items, from vintage electronics to heavy equipment, laser discs.
No dresses?
No. I think so. I have very little clothing, and the clothing I have on there doesn't. I haven't. I think the thing that sells the most I have is a Winnie the Pooh sweatshirt, and yeah, that one sells maybe once a month.
Well, you'll have more of that as your son gets older and you sell his clothes.
So, do you have a warehouse, or where is all that stuff?
Yes, we have a warehouse. It's in a retail space as well. It's 150,000 square feet, and
wow.
So yeah, I have a pretty extensive inventory that I can just pick and choose from.
How fun.
I do want to address something in the chat in case it came off wrong. Nothing wrong with us nurses. Oh, hell no. No, I was just bummed because I thoroughly enjoyed working with her. She was a 20-year-old who I almost didn't interview because she was 20. And I'm so glad I did, because she was really, really good. And her work was quick and her work ethic was great. But she got her rotation that she needed quicker than she expected and left me too soon. So I'm just a little bummed, but no, there ain't nothing wrong with nurses.
Oh, we need nurses.
I just enjoyed working with her. She was a real good person to work with. And it was fun because, Ari, I'm working through 7,000 records right now. And they're 70s and 80s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And she was 20, so she knew none of them. But as on the days that we were here together, I would pop on YouTube. Like if she was working on a record, I'd go, here's what you're working on. And she'd be like, oh, that's a Taco Bell commercial. That's how she knows old music. And so it always entertained me to no end.
Oh, that's funny.
So yes, definitely not mad love for the nurses out there too. Oh, hey,
so
my first assistant went to be a lawyer in Texas, so
right.
I lose my assistants to good careers, so it's all right. Go ahead, Deb. What were we going to say?
Do you sell jewelry too? Yeah.
I try and look for specific brands, watches more importantly. I'm always on the lookout for Rolexes, because if you can buy that low and sell high most of the time.
So do you thrift them? Do you go to garage sales? Where do you source?
I do. I go to pawn shops sometimes, or the majority of them do come through customers that are looking to sell, and I name their price.
Nice.
And obviously, Rolex is enough to be able to be like, oh, yep, that's real. That's worth.
Yeah, of course. Before I hand over money, I inspect them. I open up the machine, the watch, and check the machine inside.
All right. So what's the last time someone tried to put a fake by you?
It's happened a couple of times. A customer actually, put one by me, a Cartier balloon blue. It looked honest to God real, and we gave him what he asked and took it as a loss.
But, and I'm glad you said that, not because you got a loss, but it's part of business though, isn't it?
Yeah.
No matter if you're at Ari's level, or I saw someone join the group today that like they're brand new. There's someone in the chat that's brand new. So I don't care if your first sale, or you're doing big numbers like Ari, it is a business. There will be a loss, whether you plan for it or not, is going to happen. It is not just plus column. And that's what you got to remember when you're in business. And I don't care how small or big your business is, there is some losses. Just that's part of business, man.
And that's how we learn. I bet you've learned about that watch.
Yeah. And the guy's never going to show his face around me again. So that's it's a win-win too.
Oh yeah. You only can burn the person one time. That's it, man. That's it. You're done after that point. A very important question, has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but the chat wants to know, what's the shadow behind you on the door?
Behind the door.
Oh,
See
it's
the shadow
moving.
going back and forth? What do we see?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
Do you have a ceiling fan?
Yeah, I do have a fan.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay, that must be what it is, because everyone's like, what's that shadow by the door?
Yeah, it looks like a pendulum. Yeah,
You got a ghost, Ari? What's
I
going
was going to say, it's a sneaker ghost coming to steal your sneakers.
So Kathy wants to know, do your wife and child ever see you? You're a busy man.
Yeah, they get to see me, of course. I try and pick up my son for lunch, and my wife I see, for dinner, and then she goes to sleep pretty early. But on the weekends, I try and, Saturday is pretty light for me, so Saturdays and Sundays are reserved for the family.
Nice.
And that's awesome.
So do you think you're like an 80-hour-a-week worker? I mean, if you had to put how much, do you 60, 80, 40?
Yeah, I would say 80 hours, but I'm available 24/7, 365. My phone's always on, so if I get a phone call at 2, 3 in the morning and I have to get up and go, I do it.
So are you trained to repair airplanes? I mean, I'm looking at your list.
No, not me.
Okay.
I have a licensed mechanic, and
Smart.
I think I still have some jet engines on our eBay account too.
So, and I've been teasing, the biggest thing you sold blows everyone away. So let's take a look at it, shall we?
I can't wait.
All right. So how in the world does one go about selling a 737? Because you can't throw that in a flat rate envelope and ship it away.
No.
Can't even weigh it.
Is one of those things where, and I always say this, if you list it, it'll sell. And, eBay is pretty cheap when it comes to marketing an item. And I just threw it up there, and it sat. This was around 2000. I think I sold this in 2012. And yeah, I listed it, sat around for, 4 months. And we finally found a serious buyer for it. When you list these kind of items on there, you have a whole bunch of tire kickers that just throw out some really stupid questions, like how many miles will the tires get you, or if I can borrow this for the weekend.
Oh my God.
Bow chicka bow wow. All right. So the first question is, where'd you get a 737?
This one, we sourced it in Alaska, and we went out there and picked it up, and I found the plane online, and it was too good of a deal to pass up, and we had the team ready to get it ferryable or air ready, and brought it down to Laredo and just listed it, and the rest is history. We had a guy contact us. He was from Arizona and came down to Laredo, and this is the cargo configuration of a 737. So a lot of interest in the cargo door, and he parted out the plane, and he left me the fuselage and the interior, and I was able to do 3 separate sales with one plane, and really, it sold really pretty well.
Now, had you thought about parting it out yourself before he came along?
The idea was, and that was another plane in Arizona. No, we didn't think about parting it out ourselves. We ended up doing the parting out, but we figured we'd be able to get more money for the plane whole.
Okay.
So someone said, if we ever do a webinar on flipping planes, we're going to call you.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I've actually sold, I think, 12 airplanes on eBay.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I want to point out something. Someone said, who the hell buys a plane on eBay? a vehicle, a car, I think sells every 32 seconds. Now think about that. Everyone watching right now, have you ever bought a car without ever even touching it? No, but people do all day. So not only will they buy cars, they'll buy boats, they'll buy planes, they'll buy it all. Because guess what? eBay will back the purchase. Heck yeah.
Well, that's quite a bit because you had to have a mechanic. You wouldn't get in that plane until your mechanic obviously went through it, right? You had to fly it back. My dad had his private airplane he sold. It went to Australia, and they actually folded the wings and everything in. And install the wings and all this stuff they have to do to sell on a plane. It's not easy. Now, did you have to pay storage for 4 months out on the?
Actually, the second plane he showed in Arizona, the buyer ended up paying for that.
Oh, okay.
We paid storage. Our one of our warehouses we have is on in the airport, so storing that plane didn't incur any costs.
Oh, nice! Wow, you've just got it all hooked up.
Figured out. It's amazing. It's like
we need. I would say we need
script. You're just following it along. It's like
we need a thrifting board party plane.
No shit. Yeah,
well, let's go tour all the tiki bars. All the tiki bars across the U.S. and thrift stores.
All right, so let's look at some of your current scores because I added them up. The 4 scores you sent me is $20,000. I'm like, ugh. I showed a $40 dress. All right, so you have 2 sets of these speakers, or these monitors?
Yeah. I've already sold one. It went to Las Vegas.
Get out.
Figure
space, crank them up.
The second pair. That's what I was telling you. Whenever I find these, it's something like this. I can't. It's hard for me to sell. Both of them, and I just said screw it and put the second one on there too. I wouldn't mind that for my house.
Oh yeah, for your new house.
Did the sale that went to Vegas, did it go to a person or did it go to like a nightclub?
It went to a person. I don't know if he's gonna resell it or not. But the CEO of Fostex, I don't know if you're familiar with them. This was a big brand in the 80s, 90s, 70s, and I think they're still around right now. But the CEO and the guy that actually designed and built them, both of them contacted me wanting to buy them.
What?
They lowballed me, and I was like, yeah, no.
Wow. Cheapskates.
Wow.
And they're trying to, I guess, and it's not the first time that this has occurred, because these are brand new in box. I think they wanted it because they're going to release like a legacy series, and a lot of these old stereo companies are starting to do this again. They're retroing or re-releasing these old items, and I guess they wanted a perfect example so that they could build more out of them.
But they weren't willing to pay your price.
No.
That's crazy.
All right, tell them this. I'll give you one at half price, but you're going to send me 2 brand new ones.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so you had your kick-ass speakers. Ooh, let's talk about this turntable. Holy crap.
1986, brand new. Who's been hiding all this stuff for all these years?
I have.
So where'd you get this?
Wow.
This is from my warehouse. Both those.
Did they just walk into your warehouse, or did you?
No, my father used to be a distributor in the 80s and 90s for all these hi-fi lines. And Laredo was one of the cities largely impacted by NAFTA. All these Mexico was one of our largest customers. They would come and purchase all this up, and from one day to the other, NAFTA was introduced, and all these lines started going into Mexico, and a lot of this inventory just stuck around. And it wasn't until I showed up and started finding all this that I started selling it again.
Talk about profit piles.
Well, I'll say your jaw must have hit the floor when you.
Wow. So is your dad, he's still around, right?
Yes.
He works with you. He's probably proud of you to take him to the next.
The store is named after him. It was my homage to him.
Oh, is that the wolf? What do you call it?
That's
Big
the
bad wolf?
The wolf, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So was this some more of the old stock, a two-way videotape rewinder?
Yeah, this was, I was, one day I was just Googling hot items selling on eBay or something along that line. And I started seeing, video rewinders selling for $40. Wow. And, I was like, holy, let me see what I have down here. And I think I had like 5,000 of these items.
Holy shit.
And this is like the fourth or fifth iteration of the listing because, I forgot to put either good till canceled and the listing would just end after, 900 sales or 1,000 sales. And I think this is already the fourth or fifth time I've had to relist it.
How fun.
I used to have a TV show, Ari, and during the filming, I picked up a VHS rewinder, and then when they were done actually just filming that quick segment of me picking it up, my camera guy goes, "The hell did you pick that up for?" I go, "Oh, it'll sell like that." And he goes, "Bullshit." And of that episode, that was one of the first things to sell. I go, "Wow," because they don't make them anymore.
No, they don't. And actually, this is what's crazy is that I've been selling these for like 2 years precisely because of that. Because nobody's making video rewinders. And then all of a sudden I went to Walmart.com and, they got video rewinders now there.
Really?
Wow. Well, you were selling cassette tapes again. And so VHS might be coming back.
All right. So you have sold 176 of this.
This is so cool.
And that's, I think, and I get asked this a lot. What's your, best-selling item? Or what's your favorite thing to sell? And it's turntable cartridges. And again, this is already like the third iteration of this listing. I think I've sold a lot more than the 170 whatever I can't see that's showing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you ship it first class. It doesn't weigh anything. And it's a high profit margin.
Wow. So let me get this straight. You have all these profit piles sitting in this warehouse. You're not having to put money out for them. You just walk over, list it, and keep on going.
No, I do try to source, new items. I think if you see, I don't know if I sent it, but I have these Starbucks, these Christmas cups. I think I've sold 500 or 600 of those. But the benefit of being in Laredo is Laredo is based heavily on logistics, and you have a lot of these major companies with their warehouses here, and over time these items either have been sitting in the warehouses for too long, and they just need to get rid of them. So that's where I really go do my shopping. Is all these warehouses and looking for their dead inventory, and I'm able to scoop it up fairly cheap and put them on eBay.
That is just so awesome.
That seems so cool to have all that there that you were like, oh yeah, I can just cruise on down and pick up some stuff.
Yeah, Mattel used to be here, and I think last year they left, and that hurt me a lot.
Bummer.
All right, so let's look at your two duds, and then we'll get out of here and let everyone get off to dinner or to bed, depending on what coast you live on. So the accessory kit for the notebook, not a good deal, huh?
No, that was one of these things where the guy brought them to me, and I think he was offering me I don't know how many pieces for it was really cheap, and I was like, yeah, I'll be able to sell them for fairly cheap, but I don't think I've even been able to sell one.
Wow.
So everyone who's like, oh man, I feel like small potatoes. See, even Ari's got duds too.
Yeah.
And socks for women not doing so well.
Yeah, and that was the first thing when she showed when Deb showed us her Valentine or her Christmas socks. I can sympathize with you. I have a whole bunch of these women's socks and not one is sold.
Wow. Wow. We'll have to all pin that on Pinterest for him. See if
Yeah.
we can get those to sell.
All right, look, we have
Wow.
like 200 live viewers and we only got 54 thumbs up. So if you enjoyed this show tonight, and I know you all did, because if nothing else, Ari's story is inspiration that, you know, you can ramp up your business. It doesn't, you can stay exactly where you're at, but if you want to go bigger, it can be done. There's places to find stuff. There's people to hire. It can be done. As you can tell by that baby face, Ari ain't that old, and he is killing it. So, yo, give us a thumbs up, and well, thank you for that. And one thing I want to let everyone know, coming up is our friends, oddly enough, so you want to sell on eBay, they are hosting a summit called Introducing So You Want to Sell on eBay Virtual Summit. 3 days of actionable information from leading expert in the eBay, e-commerce, and much more field. Guess who's one of the experts? That'd be me. And there will be a link to sign up. There's some free content that's amazing, and then there's a VIP content if you want even more content. And so we've been working. I've been working with them on getting that stuff up, and it's amazing stuff. So in the thrifting board tonight, there will be a link to get signed up. If nothing else, sign up for the free content,
Yes.
especially if you're new to selling. It'll help you get a jumping off. Look, Ari didn't set out to be this online eBay seller. He was just looking for some tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I gotta ask one more question. Tell me about what kind of car you own. It's a convertible.
Yeah, I have a 67 Lincoln Continental convertible that very, you know, I went to go look. I found it in the newspaper here in Laredo. I'm the second owner of the car, but I ended up finding it looking for another car, and I saw it in his garage with you know, it was wrapped up, and I saw just like a headlight, and I was like, that's a Lincoln.
Wow.
And he's like, yeah. He's like, are you selling that too? And he gave it to me pretty cheap, and took me 4 years to restore it. And that's my car. That's my baby.
I could just see him driving that with his sneakers.
Suicide doors on those?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the last year was suicide doors.
My wife is drooling downstairs right now because she likes the 66 or 65, right in that era there. So she is like, ha. So we're going to come to Laredo, and we're going to go for a ride, and we're going to go buy an airplane. And,
are there tiki bars in Laredo?
No, but
No,
we'll bring some rum.
We should open one up.
I was just gonna say, what are you waiting for? You got lots of time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank Ari. You were awesome, brother. Thank you very much for coming on. You were so inspirational to everyone, no matter the age or level. There is you can keep on hustling and earning more and making your business bigger. You don't have to. Look, my mom and dad, they're exactly where they want to be and need to be. They don't need to be bigger, but if you want to be bigger, it can happen. And it doesn't have to be a thought out plan. Ari didn't have this thought out plan, but man, look where it took him. Took him to flipping airplanes. This is insane. So, Ari, thank you very much. I'd love to have you back on someday. Like, we'll catch up with you and see how you're doing. And
yeah, I'd love to have you here.
Next time I get to Texas, I'm going to stop by. But if you get to Vegas, come on by, and I'll buy a cocktail or two.
And everybody, please go. He has a Facebook page called Wolf's Big Bad Garage. Please go and like his page. Let's get his page with a couple 100,000 of us.
Hell yeah. Deb, thank you very much. Don't forget, Thrift Hall tomorrow, 3 p.m. East Coast, noon West Coast. Everyone tune in. I got a lot of cool stuff. Plus, I need help with that very rare jacket I thrifted. I think it's amazing, but I can't figure it out. And that is rare for me to be stumped. So I need some help from everybody. So tune in tomorrow. And with that, we're gone. Have a good day, everybody.
Kiss the baby for us.
Will do. Thank you.